Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Florida Podmen Advent Calendar. Behind today's door, snow.
Okay, so snow is, as you've just heard with the creaky door, is my Advent calendar goodie.
There was a white rapper called Snow.
He's Canadian, yeah. Informer, right?
And he did Informer, yeah.
Yeah. It's our national anthem.
Is it about his trip to Florida, or is this something else?
Well, you know, when I was in grade 6 history class in Canada, we do learn about Snow and all of his comings and goings because he has a major. I don't have a freaking clue, man. All I know is Informer and then licky boom boom down. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. It's just It just says that word. It makes a bunch of weird noises, and then it's just terrible. Yeah. I apologize on behalf of all Canadians, unless you like that song, in which case you're welcome. So my story today is not about white Canadian rappers. It is about Tampa's 1958 snow show, which was an epic fiasco. So this one is actually Christmas related.
Brilliant! I can't wait for this. Just even the description of fiasco has sold it for me. I can't wait. This is going to be a National Lampoon's caper. I love it.
So here's that was the headline. Here's the sub headline. This is, like they usually have the one word, the one sentence thing that leads you into the story. So Tampa hyphen. It was supposed to be a winter wonderland. New paragraph. Okay, so this is Beach Park resident Howard Hilton. I don't know if he's related to the Hilton Hotel people, but let's presume he is. He was planning the Great Tampa Snow Show back in 1958. He envisioned smiling kids, Santa Claus, spreading good cheer, frolicking reindeer, and lots of snow. A giant Christmas tree. I could have even stolen one of your topics too. I got a tree in this one too. Would hulk over the festivities, and there would be a massive 5-story ski slope. So start to imagine what's going to happen here. There's all your, if we're playing Cluedo, there's all your suspects in the room. Okay, we've got all the pieces laid out in front of us. So instead of this giant festivity envisioning smiling kids, blah, blah, instead, Hilton's 8-day event turned into the most flawed spectacle in Tampa's history.
Amazing.
So even though hundreds of thousands came to the show, it resulted in 47 lawsuits, 3 dead reindeer, and several sunburned seals.
I hate laughing at shit like this, but
you had no idea that was coming.
That's funny.
So this guy was 32 at the time. He wanted to create a winter carnival. Pitched the idea. Everybody in town thought it was fantastic. I'm skimming this and just kind of paraphrasing. All the downtown business association owners all contributed to this. Shut down 5 blocks of the street. So obviously Tampa doesn't have snow. So what do we do to cover a street in 3 million pounds of snow? And that's pounds weight, not pounds money. So he looked at the ice.
Artificial snow.
He looked up ice in the yellow pages. Ice, ice, baby. So we can have another white rapper. This is the white rapper section.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we looked up ice in the yellow pages and picked a place at random. The owner of the city ice company, a guy called Emmett Stewart, made his living icing down shrimp boats. I'm learning things here. Anyways, he volunteered his company service for free in exchange for his daughter.
What do you mean? What do you mean icing down shrimp boats?
Icing down shrimp boats. So I'm guessing that I don't really know. So shrimp boats probably on Florida get warm, so you probably need to like ice them down to, I don't know, is it to kill bacteria or to make the boats cold for the next trip out? So they're.
I'm wondering whether it's to put ice in the bottom bit where they put their fish to keep them cold.
It's just a weird way they just could. Wouldn't I just say he made his living putting ice in shrimp boats? This is icing down. Like I ice down my knee if it's aching.
You do it. I don't know. I don't know why else ice would be on a ship.
It's got to do with keeping the shrimp not going off. I mean,
it's got to be. Yeah.
So
okay. That's that answered. So that's how we made his money.
But and here's this was 60 years ago. This is a much simpler time. Stewart volunteered. This is the Iceman, the ice owner. He volunteered his company services for free in exchange for his daughter being used in publicity photos and named Queen of the Snow Show.
What?
Pouring his daughter out for free ice.
This is a movie.
Anyways, yeah, they're grinding up 300-pound blocks of ice. Among the invited guests was Norwegian ski jumping star Leif Svensson,
Oh my
who was
God.
to inaugurate the snow with a first run down a man-made ski slope in the middle of the street. Oh, we always like.
This is the bit where I'm saying, what could go wrong?
So here's the Pulitzer line. So Leif Svensson, the Norwegian ski jumping star, was invited to inaugurate the show with the first run down the ski slope. This is brilliant. Things pretty much went downhill from there. Hey.
Oh, the badumts.
So after the fact, they asked Hilton, did things go the way he expected? He's like, no, I can't think of a thing that went right. So before this is going to be one of the longer ones because I think I'm only about a quarter of the way through, but it's just as random snippets of stuff. So I'm just going to get it all out here.
Let's do it.
So before the show, and we're all over the place. There's a cast of characters here. Before the show, the governor of Minnesota promised to ship the nation's tallest Christmas tree to Franklin Street in Florida. Bad idea, the story says. A logging company built a makeshift road through the North Woods, felled the tree, then a bulldozer pulled the tree along the road towards the railroad tracks. Then the tree was loaded on a train to Tampa. Unfortunately, the tree snapped in half when the train rounded a bend in central Indiana. So they're shipping this big tree from Minnesota in the north of the U.S. down to Florida. Halfway through, the tree broke in half. So they decided to cut another tree down and try it again. Then the bulldozer sank in a quagmire and couldn't be retrieved until the spring. The mayor of Duluth in Minnesota, who was considering a run against the governor, decided to offer a tree of his own. So he's trying to win. He's trying to win the governor's office in Minnesota by donating a tree to a parade in Florida. This is a much simpler time.
Well, I can see how this would happen. You're a good guy. You're a good guy, tree guy.
Yeah. So the third tree, so the first one snapped, the second one sank. The third one made it to Tampa, where it was to be raised in the middle of Franklin Street, where the ski slope is. Engineers dug into the road to provide a stable resting place. Everything was fine. The tree was gently placed into a hole. And then it sank and broke right through a city sewer line. Quote unquote.
At some point, Goldilocks turns up.
This is a quote from 1958. A surge of disgusting goo oozed up from around the tree, gushing up and swirling over the tree's lowest branches, which now rested flat on the roadway. The trunk was no longer visible at all. Unaccountably, people started giving me dirty looks as the odious, repugnant glop slurped relentlessly over gutters onto side. This is the adverbs and adjectives that are needed. Unaccountably, people are giving me dirty looks. But it's very accountably. It took days to repair the street, clean the tree, lift it. One of the biggest problems, and so we haven't even got to the biggest problem. One of the biggest problems was something that Hilton couldn't control, which was the weather. Temperatures were in the high 80s at that point in time, so a heat wave caused all the snow to melt.
Because it's fucking Florida.
So it was a heat wave, but they kept the snow machine blowing snow. Everything was just melted, basically. Svensson, back to Svensson, our Norwegian skier. He couldn't make his ski run because the night before, 6 college students decided to toboggan down the slope the night before his 10 a.m. run, so it knocked snow from underneath the slope, exposing all of the chicken wire that it was based upon. However,
and the chickens beneath that.
However, Svensson decided, you know what? I'm Norwegian, I'm hardy, I'm going to go ahead with it. So, back to the quotes here. He raced down the 200-foot slide to the excited screams of the crowd, hit the icy ski run at the bottom, careened unsteadily for 100 feet or more, and then tumbled head over heels, skis and poles flying to the horrified gasps of the onlookers. He remained a trooper. He went back and tried it again, and he did it perfectly. So things are looking up. This just keeps going and going and going. A bunch of and a second group of tobogganers went down, crashed with injuries. People were arrested for throwing ice balls. What I haven't got to yet is there's reindeer and sunburned seals that I haven't even got to yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this.
So after the third or fourth day, they shut the slope down. It's getting too dangerous. Fearful of a riot, Hilton did what he felt he had to do. He braved the slope himself. He paid 3 men $10 each to ride a toboggan down the slope.
Stop. You just said that he feared a riot.
Yeah, because people were outraged because they didn't get their snow parade or whatever.
At no point in this have they expressed the crowd's dissatisfaction. I think he's
Remember, there was the looks that he got from the tree going in, whatever it was.
He's going, I've got to go, otherwise there's going to be a riot.
So
he's just made that up.
He's got to make himself look like a hero. So he rode down the hill on the toboggan. He came down relatively unscathed, other than his knuckles being scraped by the raw chicken wire.
Knuckles.
Snow was added that night for the next day to kind of liven things up again. For the second day of toboggan rides, 2 women were hurt when their toboggan crashed. One had a possible broken back and the other one a concussion. The slope was then closed permanently, so after all of it, they finally decided to close it. They had they had an ice skating rink in the middle of the street. 20 skaters were supposed to be performing on this ice skating rink. The show only lasted 20 minutes because the crowd pushed in so tight to see the show. The front row was jammed against the edge of the 4-foot-high stage. One of the skaters got too close to the edge and slashed a woman's forehead in the crowd with her skate when she did a pirouette. Holy Christ! It just keeps going. I'm going to skip through some of this because it's now New Year's Day by now. By the time I've got through this story, it's a long one. Man, several Santas were hired for the show, but parents complained because they were making false promises, promising presents to the kids that they could never get. One Santa.
This is a movie.
One Santa told a kid he could pick out any gift he want at Moss Brothers, a local department store. He's just encouraged his kid to go shoplifting, basically.
Holy shit.
God. One Santa was arrested for being drunk. One of the Santas robbed a jewelry store. 6 penguins were to be donated to the show from Buenos Aires, Argentina. They didn't show up.
I gotta tell you, whilst you're reading this, I'm looking at photos of trying to look at photos of this. There is one. It doesn't give you any indication that this was a fiasco. That this was a fiasco. But I have spotted Leif Svensson going down. It's just there's no snow on it. There's no snow on it. It's just a thing. So just an hill.
They carted in some reindeer for the show. 3 of the deer died. They just basically panicked and ran around. A third deer, evidently frightened, killed itself by running headlong into a tree. There was a call from animal rights activists and said this was abuse on the deer. I didn't honestly think they had animal rights activists in 1958. I don't know why I feel that's like a phenomenon from 70s, 80s at the earliest.
Well, there must have been. This is the way I'm thinking about it. You're looking at these reindeer committing suicide. Somebody's going to go, let's start the activist group.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a trailer which was supposed to be have entertainment. It was basically a brothel. The story, it just kind of peters out from there and kind of talks about, insurance covered it. This guy's written an autobiography and stuff. It doesn't mention how the seals got sunburned, but I guess they must have had them out being, North Polish and got sunburned in Florida. That's the most rambling story I think I've ever told. And this is supposed to be short stories, and I think it's the longest one I've told, but it's just...
I love this story so much. I would like us to do a special on it. Like, I would actually love, if possible, to make the documentary of this.
You should, like Wrinkles the Clown.
Nice callback. I loved that story. I loved how I couldn't see how it was going. I could not see when that was going to finish, other than the fact that at some point it was just going to have to stop. Use
your own time. Just Google it. You'll find it and just read it because there's so many layers that are in this story. It's ridiculous. So that's my snow story.
Snow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Right. Happy Christmas, everybody. And that's the advent for snow.
There we go. No problem. See you later.